Hello everybody, in this video we're going to talk about why the NVC and State Department backlogs continue to increase. We've got a lot of comments and questions from you guys, and I'm going to feature a few of you in this video and answer this question, and also what we can do now to overcome those backlogs and what the State Department is going to do to speed up the process and get us back to normal. So make sure you watch this video until the end, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody, and welcome back to our immigration channel. This is a place where you get the most up-to-date immigration news, immigration information, and everything else that you need to make your immigration journey less stressful. My name is Jacob Sapochnick, and I'm an immigration attorney located in San Diego, California, and I help clients in all 50 states. In this video, I'll be reading some of your questions, and you can see they all have the same theme. People are worried about when they're going to get their interview appointments, when is NVC going to release their case. I'm going to address all this in this video, including what the State Department is going to be doing to make things faster and hopefully speed up the processing of your cases. Here are some of the questions I've been getting. Yamarai Rodriguez says, I'm sad because my fiancé case is still in NVC. Everything is approved. They're waiting for Guyana. Ask them for paper to get the interview. I've got another one from Bahardi Misal. What about IR1s? Again, those cases are also stuck. I'll explain to you what's happening with respect to IR1s, CR1s. Conrad De Souza, I'm waiting for my wife interview. Her priority date was November 22, 2021, and her DQ date is December 2020. When will she get an interview? What do I do if my case was accepted back in March and I've gotten no update since then? Should I call? Once again, documentary qualified fiancé visa. This is Ashley Castillo. Lovely Moo. Jacob, what about Ethiopia? My husband is still waiting for an interview. Once again, those are documentary qualified people that are not getting their interviews. Sufyan Memon, what about the embassy in Pakistan, Islamabad? Once again, documentary qualified, waiting to be scheduled. Bisharab Sarb from India, documents qualified in October 2020. CR1, what can we do? How much time until the interview letter? As you can see, so many questions, so many comments. The same theme. Why are the NVC backlogs keep increasing? There's so many more comments just like that on our YouTube channel. And so in this video, we'll address the issue of why NVC backlogs are continuing to grow instead of decrease, and what is the State Department doing about it to bring things back to normal. So let's talk about why are these backlogs continue to increase. Remember, number one, U.S. embassies and consulates worldwide were closed for over a year, and even now, as they're slowly reopening in different phases, they're still not working normally, and we are now in August of 2021. These embassies are still working in limited capacity. That's one of the main reasons why these backlogs continue to grow, because while NVC continues to work normally, as you know, and I mentioned it in all these videos, NVC continue to work. They continue to process your DS-260 forms, they continue to take your cases, and they continue to documentary qualify your applications. The problem is that the volume of cases is close to almost 600,000 cases that are now sitting in NVC. They're not able to be sent to U.S. embassies because U.S. embassies are not able to open slots. And as I mentioned in previous videos, they are required to notify the NVC 30 to 60 days in advance when they have interview slots open, so that NVC will be able to send them those cases. Well, that has not been happening. Very few embassies are opening slots right now, and therefore the backlog with NVC continues to grow every single day. Number two, there are about 133 embassies that are currently open. Many of these embassies, while they're open, they're working in limited capacity. What does that mean? That means that they are not working on processing all visa categories. That means they are working on their tier categories. They have 4 tiers. We talked about the 4 tiers in many videos, and they are giving priority to certain visas and less priority to other visas. As a result, less and less people are able to get interviews. As a result, less and less people are able to get regular scheduled interviews, and the only interviews that some of these embassies are conducting are expedited cases only, or very limited regular interviews. So that's another reason why this backlog continues to increase, even for those embassies that are officially open based on the chart that was released by the State Department. The presidential proclamations that were issued under the Trump administration essentially killed our visa processing system. The Muslim ban, as you remember, and other bans that were instituted back then essentially stopped processing of visas completely. Many people were not able to get visas at all. And these proclamations barred US citizen parents to come to the United States. It barred people from certain countries to come to the United States. It barred certain employment-based green card holders from coming to the United States. It created a massive backlog that was only started to be released when Biden lifted those proclamations, and this happened less than a year ago, and therefore these backlogs continue to be in place at the moment. Number 4, travel bans. We still have travel bans for many countries, the whole Schengen countries, South Africa, Iran, China. Those countries, while they're not able to enter the United States, some of these consular officers also, by mistake, are not issuing visas to applicants from those countries. That's also a problem, because while there's a travel ban in place, it does not mean that these US embassies and consulates should not be issuing visas, and they are not doing so. And as a result, there are more than 4 lawsuits that were filed against the State Department, against these embassies and consulates, to force them to start issuing visas even though travel bans are still in place. And as you know, nobody has an idea when these travel bans are going to be lifted. It's really up to the US government to decide whether that's a priority or whether they are worried about the spread of the virus. But the reality is that we still have travel bans, and some embassies and consulates are using that as a reason not to issue visas. Finally, remember, the visa bulletin didn't stop. Despite the travel bans, despite the backlogs, the visa bulletin continued to advance slowly, specifically on the dates of filing. And while those dates were advancing, no interviews were scheduled. So the backlog continues to increase, which means that while more people continued to be documentary qualified, many people still are not able to get interviews. And as a result, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, 600,000 people documentary qualified are sitting at NVC, not being able to get interviews. That is essentially the crisis that we're talking about right now. Now, as I mentioned before, the State Department is now following a 4-tier system to process applications, and those categories that are up in the tier are definitely getting priority, and they're getting a faster movement. But we still have a lot of applications that are not in that priority system, and those people are definitely left behind, waiting for their interviews to be scheduled with no idea when this is going to happen. Now, some embassies that have more capacity to process cases will give priority to others on the tier system. So whether they are tier 3 or 4, if they have the capacity to process them, they will do so, which hopefully will help speed up the processing and reduce the backlogs in those particular posts. So what is the State Department doing to help speed up the process and tackle this backlog? So we'll be able to give answers to people just like you who are writing and posting comments and are really worried about what's going to happen. So first of all, the State Department continues to train more consular officers to be able to handle those visa interviews, as they are planning to open more and more slots to be able to take on interviews. We know that because under a recent liaison committee with the State Department, they were announced that they're going to be training more officers to be able to handle the amount of cases that will be heading their way once more embassies and consulates are going to open more slots for interviews. Next thing that's going to happen is that less people are going to be documentary qualified in the next several months. The documentary qualified system is going to slow down a little bit to allow those that are currently documentary qualified to start be able to get their interviews and get their dates current. So a lot of people that are currently documentary qualified are going to start seeing priority dates become current, and more of these embassies are opening slots for interviews to be available for them. The next thing is that the processing of expedited cases is going to increase day by day. We see more approvals are coming from different posts that have been very difficult, like Islamabad and Manila. We still have a lot of issues with Moscow, but certainly more of the difficult posts are allowing these expedited cases to go through. NVC is approving them, and then emergency appointments can be scheduled at those embassies. So I highly emphasize, if you're stuck and you're currently in this situation, make sure you try to expedite your application. And I've done a video before about how to do so, and we're doing those cases all the time. I highly encourage you to contact our office if you need help with your expedite. The phone number is right here on the screen, 619-483-4549, and we can help you expedite your case. It is one of the most effective ways right now to do so. So definitely getting yourself expedited is a great solution. Also, if you are not yet a US citizen, we highly encourage you To become a US citizen, if you're filing a category as a green card holder, and that category is a little bit slow right now, you can upgrade your petition, but it also can help you process your application faster. As a US citizen of an immediate relative, those are definitely higher on the priority list and will allow you to bring your loved ones to the United States much faster. And finally, if all fails and you tried everything and your case is not moving forward, suing the government under the writ of mandamus individually is a good way as well. We've been doing those cases as a last resort after our expedited efforts are not working, and we encourage you to contact our office if you need help to sue the government. This could be an opportunity to force the government to do their duty and process your application today. So hopefully this video was helpful. Just give you a little bit of a glimpse as to what's happening with these backlogs, why they're happening, what is going to happen on the State Department side to try to speed up the process and clear those backlogs, and what you can do now to get out of this mess. So thanks again for watching. Leave me a comment. Let me know what other questions you have. Maybe we'll feature your question next time. And once again, if you're here for the first time, do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. And give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.